Welcome to the Nerd Culture is Dead podcast. I'm your host and thoroughly nerd Zac. Today's topic will be Marvel vs. DC. And to help me discuss today's topic, today's guest will be Oscar at Emmanuel Rivera. And before we get into today's discussion, I'd like to have a moment and have our guest tell us a little bit about himself. So, Oscar, if you will.
Yeah, thanks, Zac, for having me here. Been a nerd since, middle school, collected comic books, read the comic books, learned everything I could from both universes. So I got a pretty good knowledge on, the comics compared to the movies and, what's popular nowadays for most people. So that's why I have certain opinions about certain things. People may or may not like it, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay, awesome. So let's just go ahead and tear this discussion open. Marvel wins.
Yeah, Marvel's got the cinematic universe wrapped around their fingers, man.
But long answer, I'd have to give it to DC.
Yeah, DC's got a stronger comic book base, and they're more realistic in certain ways.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and just jump into that a little bit, where as a kid growing up, I was always surrounded more by DC Comics. One of the things that I always saw was the cartoon runs that they had, so Justice League from 2002 or the Batman Beyond TV show.
Yeah.
And I think some of that has kind of shaped the general population nerd to still have a soft spot for DC. So I don't think they're totally out of the race.
They're not out of the race. I think DC's more of if you're a 90s kid or an older person, you grew up and was raised by Justice League, Static Shock, Batman Beyond, the Batman the Animated Series, which we forgot to even mention because it's got the original Mark Hamill Joker in it.
No, I still have that on my shelf on Blu-ray.
Oh my god, such an amazing series. They did everything perfectly in those shows. There was nothing I had to complain about at all.
Yeah, there were some episodes that were redundant because it was a cartoon. I got tired of seeing Solomon Grundy in the 2002 Justice League as the big brute villain. I feel like they could have expanded that roster a little bit.
Yeah.
And they did in the bigger episodes where Doomsday just came out of nowhere and you're like, oh, okay, hi, bro.
I guess he opened up a portal and it's going down, man.
Yeah, it's where did that come from?
It's
and Brainiac? Okay.
Oh, they're teaming up? When did this happen? Can we get a little bit of backstory here, please?
No, you can't.
No,
Sorry.
It's just go right into the episode, middle of a fight. Everybody's knocked out on their butts, and then you just see the Flash running around trying to heal everybody, gather everybody up. We gotta retreat.
We gotta run.
Go. Oh, man.
Even stemming into modern day, I'm reading the current Batman issues, the New 52.
Oh my god.
And I'm currently reading through the City of Owls or the Court of Owls.
Oh, dude.
And that's so cool. I don't get that from Marvel Comics nowadays. I feel like they keep trying to repeat the same things. So there's always 3 Deadpool issues coming out, and I'm kind of sick of it.
I think Marvel sticks to the same formula over and over again, and they stick to what they think people will mostly like. If you go to DC, you can't pick up one comic book and see the same villain in it twice. I'll promise you that. You can look at so many different DC comic books and there'll be a different villain or the birth of a new villain getting made. But in Marvel, it's very consistent. You got Iron Man versus the Mandarin. And then you got, who else? You got Galactus. You got Thanos. You got Hydra, which is the biggest one for the normal ones that people usually attend to when they're talking about Marvel villains.
I went to a comic shop the other day, and when I looked at the new issues on the shelf, right, I saw all of the current runs for Wonder Woman, Justice League, Superman, Green Lantern, Batman, and they're all over the place. But when I looked at the section for Marvel, there was 6 different Spider-Man comics, 3 Deadpool comics, 1 Fantastic Four comic, an X-Men comic, and an Avengers comic, and that was it for that week.
Yeah, I think DC's got a more bigger fan base in comics than they do in Marvel. Because, I think what Marvel's trying to do in the comic universe is trying to do, multiverses, where DC's already been doing it for, years.
And for me, DC's needed to chill out with the whole multiversal thing.
Yeah.
There's too many flashpoints.
Well, yeah, not even that, but, the newest series that I've been reading for DC is the Death Metal series. Oh my god.
Death Metal series, explain.
It's the Joker who laughs.
Okay. The Batman who laughs.
It's the Batman who laughs. Yeah, sorry about that. So it's all about he's going to different universes and basically twisting every different Batman from each universe to become like his minion. So you have
I saw on a cover like Superman who laughs, and I thought that was freaky.
oh yeah, they have Shazam who laughs because he basically builds like the super Joker serum.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment you're hit with that gas, dude, like you go mentally insane. Like it's like 20 times stronger than the original Joker gas.
And what are people supposed to do to combat that? Like, because if all the Batmans are gone, I mean, you kind of fucked.
Yeah, you basically are. Like you have one for every Justice League hero. Basically, you have the Green Lantern one, who instead of using the power of light, his Green Lantern ring produces darkness. So like he consumes everything in darkness. And then you got the Flash, which is my favorite, which is Red Death. It's when Batman and the Flash fuse together and Batman takes over the Flash's body. So he actually kills people by running. Like he's a murderer.
That's freaky.
It's freaky, but it's so good. Like, but I see what you're saying. Like the DC's got more multiverses, but they got to like chill out with a lot of them.
Well, I mean, just in terms of DC's reputation is they'll do a comic run and then 6 years later they'll be a Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of deal. And then they'll have to reboot everything and you lose the continuity from all the previous comics because, everything's reset. Yeah. And then 4 years later, because they want to redo the same stories over and over again because that's what's made them money. And then they have to reset. And then this just keeps happening over and over again where, like, we had Flashpoint Paradox to open up the New 52. And now we're here in the New 52. And I'm just waiting until they have to reset it again because all the characters are Jokers.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm kind of tired of them resetting every 4 years like you've been saying, man. Like if you know, you know. Like you know who the Flash is, you know who Reverse Flash is, you know who Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and all these people are. Like we grew up with them, but like you don't got to keep resetting the timeline every time.
Well, if they keep writing themselves into a hole, they kind of have to.
Well,
which is kind of the thing is, I don't know, with the New 52 Batman comic, it expressly understands that everyone knows who Batman is.
Yeah.
And so it starts off way later into Batman's career, right? He's trying to reform Gotham.
Yeah.
And you have the whole Bat family.
Yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy, honestly, because DC... And I will say this, the one thing that I like about DC a little bit more than Marvel, they have access to other comics that you would never think of. Like, they have Spawn, they have Ninja Turtles, which Ninja Turtles...
Do they have movie rights to Ninja Turtles, though? Because they can make a pretty awesome movie.
I don't think they have movie rights to it, but the comic that they've made for it, called The Last Ronin, bro, that comic series is insane. It's like a really dark version of the Ninja Turtles. There's only one Ninja Turtle left alive out of the four brothers. And it's the one you would never think would be the last
Donatello?
one. It's Mikey.
Oh, that's stupid. Donatello's clearly the best one.
Well, yeah, but this is Michelangelo survives, and he's still trying to destroy the Foot Clan, who's gone like super cybernetic, and like they've basically the Foot own all of New York completely. Like they've controlled mostly like all the area, and the Shredders killed all the brothers and Splinter, minus Michelangelo, who now knows how to use every single weapon. He meets the daughter. It's either the daughter or the son of April O'Neil, and they live under the sewers, and he tries to like destroy the Foot Clan once and for all for his brothers, and he's like mentally tortured by like seeing the spirits of his brothers like giving him advice before he goes into battle and stuff.
Weird, dark, mature Ninja Turtles.
It's more badass than you think. Like it'll mess with your head a little bit.
One of the things that I really want DC to do is, when I look at the current DC universe for their movies, I'm kind of sick and tired of their standalone movies. Mm-hmm. Like I liked the Snyder cut of Justice League, and I tolerated the theatrical cut for Justice League. It wasn't anything great or anything, but I think they could take a huge lesson from their old cartoon series, and all they have to do is just, over the course of 2 or 3 hours, right, make it a long movie. That's fine. People are more than willing to sit down for 3 hours. If anything, the Infinity Saga has taught us that with the 2 later movies. Yeah. Infinity War and Endgame. Yeah, we're willing to sit down for 3 hours for a movie. I can expect that from a Justice League movie. Yeah. Where it's 7 characters and I'm seeing them all gather together. And then halfway through the movie, they all come together, blah, blah, blah. They beat some minor threat, and then, boom, Darkseid walks through a portal and is saying, oh, Okay, cool. Immediately one taps one of the characters there that you've already
Know
stuck
about.
with. Like, say it's Green Lantern, because
That's
Green
where-
Lantern staying in the
That's where my head was at.
DCEU is an absolute meme at this point.
Yeah, that's where my head is at. So make it the original white Green Lantern, and then he gets bodied by Darkseid, and then you see the ring at the end of the movie. You do a cut where they were able to push Darkseid away for a little bit, so they have some time to kill.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very end, as like a special thing, they after the credits, you see the ring land in front of Jon Stewart, who's the Black Green Lantern.
I would be totally on board with that. He's my favorite Green Lantern.
Dude, he's the only Green Lantern in my eyes, bro. Like, he's done some crazy stuff.
Well, not even that. His character is just way better, in my opinion. He's got way more attitude.
Yeah.
And the way he carries himself is just awesome.
Yeah. I agree with that wholeheartedly, man.
But
like,
to just kill off Green Lantern immediately, whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's a meme that Green Lantern can exist.
yeah.
Kill him
'cause-
off immediately. Darkseid just incinerates him with his eye beams.
Yeah.
And then all the other Justice League members, so you have Batman, you have Wonder Woman, you have Superman, you have those core three.
And you got Martian Manhunter as a backup. You got the Flash.
Have Martian Manhunter be introduced through the movie as a initial antagonist that
Yeah.
they don't understand, right? Have Flash be working with Superman from the beginning,
Yeah.
and have Wonder Woman come sweeping in to save them out of nowhere, and Superman is just already dealing with the threat, and they all go up and help him.
Yeah. And then you got Batman calling in Aquaman for backup. And then you're set.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be the best intro ever.
Yeah.
Is you just see all of them united for the first time. Green Lantern sitting there towards the center like he's some big shot, and then zzz,
He just gets bodied.
yeah, just immediately incinerated by Darkseid. And then, obviously they take Superman and they start enslaving him and doing the typical Darkseid story. Like,
Yeah,
I would be 100% on board with that.
Yeah, and my thing is this: the only reason why DC's been struggling so much in the movies is because they're not taking as many risks as Marvel. Like, Marvel's taken a good amount of risks, reusing characters and actors for certain parts. Like, dude, think about it. The Fantastic Four, the original one, the Human Torch is Captain America.
Well, not even that. I mean, just think about this. Back in 2006,
Yeah.
did the normal person know who Iron Man is?
They had a good assumption. They would know he's like a scientist who fights crime in a suit of armor, but that's like as far as they got.
I mean, just even for the general population, I doubt many people knew Tony Stark, Iron Man.
Yeah.
And when they made Iron Man the flagship of the MCU, they made him the main character, really.
Yeah.
Like, Robert Downey Jr. did a great job in that role, and I think they have all the credit on that for going with a risk and using
Oh, yeah.
Iron Man instead of launching with Captain America. If Captain America is the first movie in the MCU, I don't think it would have done well.
Oh, no, it wouldn't have taken off as it did.
Like, look at what happened with the Incredible Hulk movie.
Yeah, which is funny that you speak of that because in the new Multiverse of Madness, they're bringing back, like, the first original Hulk to be in that movie. He's not going to be the Hulk, but he's going to be Banner in, like, a multiverse that they're going to time travel through.
And he just hasn't been the Hulk yet.
Yeah, he has the Hulk inside of him, but he doesn't mutate into the Hulk. They just meet him as, like, another dimension version of Hulk.
Which is why we don't see Professor Hulk.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and that I think during that time period is when they're going to implement the She-Hulk series, which is going to bring in She-Hulk, Hulk, and then talking about, like, how she got the
And then
accident.
we get Red Hulk.
Oh, dude, I've been
Because Thunderbolt
dying.
Ross has been sitting on the sidelines for years
I've
now.
been dying for General Ross to freaking become Red Hulk, man. Like, it's been so long. They showed Abomination in the Shang-Chi movie.
Abomination's chilled out, though, which is weird.
Yeah, and he looks more like the original comic version, which is okay, but, like, they made him too relaxed. I feel that. Like, they've made him less of a threat and more of, like, he's there.
Yeah, like, after everyone defeated Thanos, it seems all the villains have kind of just chilled out,
Yeah.
There's no point. The Avengers beat Thanos.
It's like, we can't go anywhere farther from here. It's like,
Obviously, I'm not a problem. I'm not a threat. Thanos already happened. Nothing else matters.
yeah.
Which I think Marvel's going to have to run into the problem now of the escalation.
Yeah, I think they're going to bring in a lot of side villains to try to see which one takes the cake of being the new big villain.
Well, I think they've already decided on their next big bad is going to be King the Conqueror.
Yeah.
But what I really want is for Right, 2024, by the time we get the Fantastic Four. Right, don't do Doctor Doom off the bat.
Do Galactus, bro.
No, don't even do Galactus. Make Doctor Doom the big bad.
Yeah.
Doctor Doom is like the perfect character for it.
And not even that. Doctor Doom does fight Iron Man in the old animated series, too. Like, he gets in there and they tussle.
I'm just thinking in terms of the comic book runs where Doctor Doom has ultimately triumphed over everyone by just outsmarting everyone. And now that Iron Man's gone, there's no one really to contest him intellectually.
Yeah. And that's the crazy part, because I think Marvel's put a lot of, like, their better villains that they can introduce into the movieverse, like, on a back burner. Like, Doctor Doom is on a back burner, Galactus is on a back burner, but the one key thing that's not bringing them in is, like you said, the Fantastic Four movie. That door can open up so many...
Or even just X-Men. Because, like, if Apocalypse shows up...
Dude, I've been dying for X-Men and Marvel to freaking come together, for the love of God.
Well, I mean, they could even try doing another Civil War run where... We remember back in, like, 2012 when they did the Avengers vs. X-Men comic run?
Yeah.
That comic was awesome. They split the Phoenix Force up onto the 5 X-Men, and that was just awesome when Cyclops is the big final baddie.
Yeah, dude.
And he's just eviscerating people.
Dude, I missed that comic. I need to reread that one.
They kept redoing it, and that pissed me off, where they were like, oh, this comic book succeeded, let's go ahead and reprint it like 8 more times and change out some of the characters, where now Captain Marvel is replacing Captain America fighting Cyclops at the end.
I don't know, dude. I think my prediction is that all these new shows and everything that they're working on is either going to end up with 2 different things. They're going to either do Secret War, which at that point they have to introduce a lot of characters, which they've been slowly doing.
I mean, they could definitely do a Secret Wars just based on the fact that we are getting multiversal.
Yeah.
And that would reset everything, and they could go ahead and say, oh, the characters you've known and loved, they're dead, right?
Yeah.
The Iron Man that you loved, he doesn't even exist in this timeline.
Yeah. And to be honest, there's some stronger Iron Mans that could easily come over, and they could become the new bad guy too, because I think there's a comic where Iron Man turns his whole suit into like nanobots and becomes basically like a god.
Mm-hmm. And
then he just starts killing the Avengers one by one. And they keep I keep seeing memes about they're hinting about it being Tom Cruise as Iron Man with like the full metallic suit and like the bracer around his face.
I think I would actually stop watching Marvel if that happened. like I took a big break from Marvel after Endgame, so I didn't see Shang-Chi, I didn't see Black Widow. I saw the new Spider-Man.
The new Spider-Man was...
I honestly was not as big a fan of it as I wanted to be. I thought that the second Spider-Man movie in their trilogy was the best out of the 3 movies.
Yeah.
I liked Homecoming.
Homecoming was good,
but I liked Far From Home a lot. Where they really just tried to make Tom Holland the next Iron Man.
Yeah, which is... It could happen.
Not anymore. No
well,
one knows who he is.
Yeah, but we do have other characters that play a part that could be the next Iron Man. Like you got that kid that was in I think it was Iron Man 3 where the Mandarin was supposedly in it.
Yeah, well, and he was at Iron Man's funeral in Endgame.
But everybody's like, who the hell's this kid?
I don't think they need to do another Iron Man. I think they just need to step away from it entirely.
Yeah.
Like Iron Man, he did his thing. Let's let it be. Let's get something new and exciting. I don't think we need to make another Iron Man. We don't need more suits of armor, right? Armor Wars does not need to happen.
Yeah, I don't know why I think they're just trying to give people like, I don't even know what's going to be in Armored Wars. I know it's going to be like a War Machine thing, but still, like, what characters are going to get...
Well, they could introduce Ruri and have the little Iron Man daughter thing.
Okay, yeah, but still...
They could do that. Or no, Ruri is the MIT student who mentored Tony, or was an apprentice of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
They could have a time skip, have Tony's kid, but that wouldn't make sense because then we'd be forsaking the timeline of all these characters we already know.
Yeah. There's a lot of Marvel is more, I don't want to say they're more, I wouldn't say they're better on how they try to trick you to thinking it's one way when it's actually another way. Like, think about it. When Guardians of the Galaxy 2 ended and the golden Society. They built Adam
Warlock.
Yeah, they built Adam Warlock, but we haven't seen a glimpse of Adam Warlock.
I think that is exclusively because of the James Gunn problem.
Yeah.
Where they had to cancel production on Guardians 3 for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure we were supposed to get Guardians 3 after Endgame.
Yeah, which would make sense.
I think Shang-Chi took its slot.
Yeah, which Shang-Chi's not a bad movie. Now, the one movie that this is just my opinion, I don't recommend. The only reason why I watched it is because it was a new movie to watch. Eternals was garbage, bro. Like, they kept bouncing back and forth through different time periods during the movie was happening. So, like, you didn't know what was happening where. And, like, the only good thing that came out of it was they hinted at the Black Knight, who's that guy?
Jon Snow.
Yeah, Jon Snow was going to be the new Black Knight. Here's the fun thing.
I just want Dark Avengers, man. Or Secret Avengers. Have Moon Knight, him, Blade. Or have them fight the dark and mysterious of Marvel.
So, speaking of that, so when Kit Harington goes to his home and he's like, I have secrets to tell you. And you see him at the... little bit of a spoiler. At the end of the movie, he's reaching for the Black Knight's sword. The voice that tells him, do you really want to do that? Daredevil? Is Blade's voice.
Oh, it's Blade's?
It's Blade's voice.
So, hold on. We get Daredevil in the new Spider-Man movie. We get Blade telling Black Knight, are you sure?
Are you sure you want to gain that power?
There's no way we're not getting a Dark Avengers.
We have to get a Dark Avengers, bro.
Like, I would be 100% on board for that.
Yeah. Who else is in Dark Avengers? So you have Black Knight, you have Blade, you got Moon Knight, who's getting a show. Who else is part of that team?
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they could throw in Doctor Strange.
I think so.
Because then they could do like a mini Illuminati kind of deal there. Because Iron Man's dead. I mean, Reed Richards could be part of it, but
yeah,
who else would really be part of the Illuminati?
That you just got me there, dude. Like
I mean, you could put in Professor X.
Yeah, which Professor X would be pretty powerful, but then that would finally admit that they are going to cross over the X-Men Marvel Universe and put them as one finally.
Well, I think their whole deal is they have the license for X-Men. They want to give it some time. Mm-hmm. Do Fantastic Four first, that way they can introduce the idea of mutants. Mm-hmm. And then from there, slowly say, hey, the events that you saw in the X-Men movies from Fox, that was just a multiverse. You saw Timeline 2.
That makes sense. They can do a lot with that. You
know how awesome that would be if you brought... So say Timeline 2 exists, right?
Yeah.
That's where Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is. It's where Kitty Pryde is, right?
Yeah.
All of those actors that you knew and loved from those movies, they're still over there. They introduce a whole new set of actors for Wolverine, Deadpool, blah, 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 in the MCU.
Yeah.
And then when Secret Wars comes, you have all those characters who have the old actors. They could fight each other.
Oh.
You could have Hugh Jackman versus whoever the new Wolverine ends up being.
Yeah, which I keep hearing rumors that it's going to be the main character from Kingsman, Eggsy. They're leaning strong on him to be the new Wolverine because they were going to use...
They just need some burly-ass dude.
They were going to use the guy who plays Venom, Tom Hardy. They wanted to use him, but now he's Venom.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be a good fit for Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, he has the, like, rough, grisly appearance, but he doesn't have the demeanor.
Yeah, and he's more of a Venom anyway. I see him more of as a Venom. Like, after watching the movie, I can't go back. Which, second movie
now that we know that the Sonyverse is also crossing over.
Oh, my God.
Because we already had Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
And then the end scene where Venom, the symbiote, exists in the MCU.
Yeah.
And I don't think its mind would be wiped of knowledge of Spider-Man.
Nope.
Or no, it would have been...
It would have never met...
It would have been wiped of Tom Holland, but it still would want to go to Spider-Man.
Yeah, because he's like... Because when he looks at the screen during the clip that they showed, it's Venom looking at Spider-Man, not the person who's under the mask. It's legit Spider-Man. He's like, he looks tasty. So they know... He just wants Spider-Man. He doesn't care which Spider-Man he gets. He just wants Spider-Man.
Yeah, there's no way we're not going to get Venom in the MCU next.
Yeah.
Like, the fourth movie has to be him confronting Venom.
Yes.
Which, does that mean we're going to get the MCU equivalent of guy who gets consumed by Venom, who is a friend of Osborn? God, what's his name? It's not Brock.
It's not Eddie Brock. It's Flash Thompson?
It may be.
I think it's Flash Thompson. Because I know there's two different Venoms. There's the Eddie Brock Venom, which is the OG, and then it's Flash Thompson who gets it next.
Okay.
So it has to be Flash Thompson, I think.
It'd be one of those two, and maybe it's somebody who Peter meets in college and becomes like roommates with.
Yeah, because
like he gets into MIT somehow, or because he's going after MJ, trying to befriend her still.
Yeah, because we already have a Flash Thompson in the new Tom Holland Spider-Man universe, which I don't like him. He seems like not even what Flash Thompson would be in my mind. So he could be Eddie Brock. We could meet the Eddie Brock of their universe in college where Peter goes off.
Yeah, and he's like some football player who happens to be rooming with Peter.
Yeah.
And they end up just becoming friends because he's astounded that Peter's like actually super fit despite being so small.
And you know what's funny? Now that no one knows who Peter Parker is, he can finally go and work for J. Jonah Jameson and actually take pictures of Spider-Man and sell them.
They could really do a funny thing here, and it could be like an OnlyFans Spider-Man account. And J. Jonah Jameson is the only subscriber, and it's like $1,000 a month.
No, dude, don't do that to Spider-Man.
Oh, come on. That would be the funniest thing
That would be funny as hell, but so many people would be pissed off because of it.
Nah, Spider-Man feet pics. That's what we need.
Spider-Man feet pics with webbings in between the toes. Oh, God, we went down a black hole right now.
Yeah, Oscar, you kind of just came out and said you had a foot fetish.
No, dude, I'm straight.
All right, bro. Whatever you say.
Feet are weird, man. Feet are weird.
Oh, man. But I just am...
There's a lot of potential on both sides.
I think I'm just fatigued of superhero movies at this point. Like, I want something new, and I want DC to give us that, because I'm sick and tired of the same Marvel formula where it's all quippy humor and, it's just the general same 3-part structure where new superhero comes out, he's super cool, we don't see his origin story because who cares about a superhero's origin? And then they get beat up by the big bad at the beginning of the first act, and they have to redeem themselves during the second act by doing some training or going on some personal quest. And then in the third act, they end up barely beating the villain that they've been training for, and then, oh my god, we see some end credit scene that reveals the next villain.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it. It's been almost, 15 years of it now?
Yeah, dude. But I will say this. There's a lot of movies that are keys to opening a couple of doors that may change up that way of thinking. Because think about it. You got Morbius coming out, and he's not a good guy at all.
Well, Morbius is part of the Sony universe. He's not part of the MCU.
Yes, but...
Or I guess that's a different kind of movie you could watch, is the Venomverse.
Well, think about it. If they do Morbius, in that universe, the Spider-Man who's the Spider-Man in like the posters and stuff, it's Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which they could do, they could finally introduce Blade into the movie universe, because Blade hunts Morbius while he's trying to find like a cure for his disease, or he falls in, I think in the old Spider-Man show, Morbius falls in love with a woman, but she doesn't want him, because they used to date before he got the disease, and then he becomes a creepy total monster, and then Blade's hunting him down as Spider-Man's trying to see what the hell's going on in his city.
And meanwhile, Spider-Man intervenes. They're like, hold on, guys, we can all be friends.
Yeah, no.
And Blade's like, he's a vampire, he must die.
Yeah. Chop his head off. Kill him with fire. I don't know. I understand where you're coming from. I'm tired of the same routine over and over again, man. Like
Marvel's done it well, but like...
It gets to a point where it's like, what's new?
We've just been doing it for so long, I feel. Like, I like the movies, don't get me wrong, but I think they can innovate a little bit.
They could. I think
Marvel became big because they took risks. Why can't they start taking risks again?
Yeah. And to be honest, that's the one thing that might give DC a little bit of a chance to maybe catch up. Maybe. Because they have some good movies coming out, but it's the same thing as always, dude. It's rewriting Batman again.
Well, and hear me out here. You speak about rewriting Batman again. I am so excited for that new Batman movie.
So am I.
I really want that to be part of the universe that Joker movie was in with Joaquin.
Well, the thing is, they want to make another Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, and then that could combine their two universes together.
Yeah,
which would
at the
be
end
insane.
of like that Joker movie could be him trying to run a crime syndicate in Gotham and dealing with someone who is mysteriously beating up his guys and combating his forces, and at the end of the movie it's a face-off between him and Batman.
Yeah.
And then the beginning of Batman 2 is that end scene where it's you see Batman's perspective of the last like act of the Joker movie of him like hunting down the Joker.
Yeah.
But it was all part of Joker's plan.
Well, the thing is, they've hinted that the Joker movie, that Joker is not the Joker that we know. He's like a precursor Joker. But I heard that the guy who plays Green Goblin, he wants to play
Willem Dafoe.
He wants to play Joker.
He'd be a good Joker. I mean, Green Goblin and Joker share a lot of similarities in characters.
Yeah, he just has to go a little bit darker when he goes to the Joker universe and be careful. That's the only thing, because there is the curse of the Joker.
I think the plot will do that for Joker. I think that's totally fine. And you speak about the curse of Joker. The curse of Superman was a superstition for a while.
Yeah.
Until Henry Cavill got it.
Yeah.
And he's not dead yet.
Yeah, so we don't know what... so far, the curse of the Joker ended with Joaquin Phoenix because he didn't go insane. He didn't go... Like, even Jack Nicholson is like, when I used to play the Joker, dude, he's like, I didn't know who I was. I went to, like, another part of myself to reach that character, and it's crazy to me.
That may just be a marketing thing.
Yeah, maybe. We never know. We can't really truly know until...
You're right. Let's put them under psychological evaluation and go ahead and determine whether it is or not. For the sake of our entertainment.
For the sake of our entertainment. Joker watch at 5.
It's like Big Brother, but it's all just Joker actors in the same room. It turns into a crack house.
They have like 5 different nurses all dressed as Harley Quinn to see which one cracks first.
Man, that shit's messed up.
That's some good TV right there. No, but
I'm so excited for that Batman movie, and I kind of want them to go a different direction. Don't do the same routine formula where we get a movie with some random baddie, and then we get a Joker movie, and then we get an underwhelming third movie.
Okay, if this movie for Batman does well, I've been saying this for years, and I want it to happen because they hinted at it when Christian Bale was Batman. They hinted at Robin or Nightwing or whatever. Frickin' put him in the goddamn universe, man. I'm tired of waiting and getting teased about Nightwing and Red Hood and frickin' Batgirl and all that. Just put him in the goddamn universe already. Like, give him a movie with real actors playing them. Don't tease at us with the frickin', oh, what's your real name? Well, my real name's Dick Grayson. Well, that's a good name. And then frickin' just...
And then just fuck off and...
Yeah, just end the whole series with him finding the Batcave, and then it just goes, beep, done. It's like, what the fuck was this shit?
It turns out he never made it into the Batcave. The automated defenses killed Dick Grayson off screen, and we just didn't get to see it.
Oh my god. I don't know. I'm still pretty skeptical on how Mr. Twilight's sparkly vampire is going to be as Batman.
I think he'll do pretty well. Did you see him in The Lighthouse?
Yes. That was a good movie.
I think he can channel that same energy into Batman, and we're totally fine. The only thing I will say is if they do end up wanting to go with the Nightwing route, or they want to put in Robin, and they have a Joker movie as the second movie, right? You could spend a whole first third of the movie getting to know the Robin, right? Really humanize him, show his struggles of trying to learn from Batman.
Yeah.
And then he goes out on a solo mission to prove himself, and then he runs into the Joker, and then the Joker can twist him, and we can watch that happen.
Oh, dude.
And then you could do the one comic route where they had the Robin end up being the Joker's kid, kind of.
Yeah. And they hinted at it in the Justice League movie. In the Batcave, there's the suit of Jason Todd where it's tortured, and you can see like the ha-ha-ha's like in a glass case. It's like, you could easily connect these two movies together and say like Ben Affleck's the older version of that Batman.
I think canonically he is just an older Batman.
Yeah. And then you could...
And then this Batman is Batman 2 years into the job.
Yeah. Which would... If they do this movie and it does well, you already have the Penguin set up, you have Catwoman set up, and you have the Riddler set up. Which are very... They're known villains, but like they're not like the big ones like the Joker and stuff. But
well,
like,
I think they're going to play the Catwoman angle like they did in the Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh.
Where she ends up being a love interest rather than an antagonist.
That could be very interesting.
Yeah, because we hardly view Catwoman as an antagonist anymore from just a general population.
She just keeps switching, like, am I good? Am I bad? No, I love Batman now. I'm gonna do anything for Batman now.
And I'm pretty sure that's where it's going to go, is her fascination for Batman is what's going to change her ways.
Yeah.
I feel that coming. I really do.
I don't know. Apparently, so in this new Batman film, apparently they had two versions of the film. I read about this. One version of the film, they didn't have any extra scenes with the hinting at the Joker in it. The reviews were horrible. When they put the Joker hints back in, and they might have an end credit scene with the Joker coming out, the rates were so much better. Like, the rating was a lot higher on the movie, and they did like private screenings for it. So we may get like a young Joker coming out of this young 2-year Batman into the universe type of thing.
Just Joaquin Phoenix. That's all we need.
Dude, if you bring in Joaquin Phoenix, I will be happy because he did Joker realistically and very well.
And I think that's where this whole mini DC universe can go, is it can show, right, like a true young Batman who's relying on his detective skills rather than his money to get things done. And it's really just a really gritty Batman movie, but it tells the true dark side of Gotham, where they could go ahead and make this a Court of Owls kind of movie, where it reveals through the Riddler, hey, your parents were kind of assholes. They ruined Gotham and you're part of it, whether you know it or not.
Wow. That could do a lot.
And then that could go ahead and send Batman into a more or less vulnerable state where then the Joker could really do some damage.
Yeah. Like, I want to see a dark scene where Joker's doing some stuff, Batman's busy somewhere else, and Jason Todd's like, screw it, I can stop the Joker myself. And then you just see him getting beat up by a crowbar and like mentally tortured by the Joker before the whole thing explodes. And then you get a new version of Ra's al Ghul, who steals Jason Todd's body and puts it in the Lazarus pit and basically turns him into like a weapon against Batman and just like lets him loose in Gotham again.
Oh, that'd be absolutely cool.
That would be insanely good.
The problem is they have to have a believable Robin and have him be young enough.
Yeah.
Like, you would need like a 12-year-old Robin.
Yeah. You would need a 12-year-old Robin, and then you would also have to set up... But the thing is, it's easy to set up Robin into the universe because you could just do like the first couple scenes of a movie, you see Bruce Wayne going to like...
Well, I'm not talking about more of a movie sense. I'm talking about an actor sense.
Who
right now could play a good Robin? And like, don't mention a Stranger Things kid.
No, no, none of them can be. No, I don't see any of them being that. I'm trying to think. Like, it's hard to choose a Robin without. I can't see many people being a young Robin. That's the thing. Like, you need like a teen Robin type of thing. Like, I want to say like.
Maybe around 15 years old.
15 is like a good age to start off as Robin, but the thing is, I think there's a Robin out there. We just gotta find him, because
I'm sure there's some random bum off the streets who could play Robin. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure the kid exists. I'm just
because they already picked out.
I just don't think they would find him easy enough. It'd be like the search for Harry Potter.
Yeah, I think someone did a fan art of what Nightwing should be, and it was you ever watch Teen Wolf?
No, I never watched Teen Wolf.
Okay, I'm trying to think what other movies he's been in. Have you watched Maze Runner?
I have watched Maze Runner, yeah.
Okay, so one of the guys in Maze Runner, they chose as Nightwing. I can't remember his name. Oh my god, who is this guy? What other things has he been in? I'm trying to think of other things. I know he was in Teen Wolf. I know he was in Maze Runner. I can't really put a name with a face.
I mean, we could always end up meeting Batgirl, and like Commissioner Gordon's daughter ends up being like, like 19 in the movie.
Yeah.
And she just happens to really like Batman. Not in a romantic sense or anything, but sneaks off and follows after Batman and then finds the Batcave and goes, all right, well, now you're being forced into this.
Yeah. And the thing is this, there is this comic series where Batgirl does have a hardcore crush, and they made an animated movie where Batgirl actually hooks up with Batman before she gets crippled by the Joker.
Yeah, that's something else.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But like, yeah, I see where you're going with that. Like, I could see they would have to issue a young Barbara Gordon, 19, 20s. I'd say like around 20.
Yeah, like
they could go from there.
Good physical condition because she's lived with a cop her whole life.
Yeah.
Knows how to defend herself.
Yeah, knows how to shoot a gun, knows how to do martial arts, stuff like that. Like, it's just...
Like, the characters there, they just have to grab some random redhead.
Yeah. They gotta
and I'd be all about it.
Dude, I'd be down. That'd be a really good movie. Honestly.
Yeah, that could just be the end credit scene for like a second Batman movie. But I this is the kind of the thing where we can look at the Marvel pathline or pipeline and see what movies are coming out, and we know that we're going to be getting like a Skrull invasion movie.
Yeah, you're getting Secret Invasion, which is the Skrulls. You're getting Thor.
Thor: Love and Thunder, which is coming out sooner.
That one actually looks pretty good because they're actually going to have Girl Thor like they wanted in the comics.
Yeah.
You have.
I was always confused about that comic run though, because I thought that she died of cancer.
I did too.
And then I don't think they would do that. I think they would try and replace our modern Thor with Jane Foster Thor.
Yeah, and they're basically going to turn Thor into be like the new Odin, more or less.
Well, that's kind of what they're doing with the Rune King Thor, because that's the name of his armor. So he's going to inherit some form of the Odin Force.
Yeah, which is, oh my god.
That'll be cool, but he'll also be too strong for the MCU, so I think they'll just have him be like a cosmic protector like the Silver Surfer, and we'll hardly ever see him in movies.
Oh my god.
It'll only be when Kang the Conqueror comes, or when Galactus shows up, that we see Thor again.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue, is we're not going to see much more Chris Hemsworth in the MCU after this movie.
Yeah, and then you do have the new Guardians, which is going to open up Adam Warlock to be a new villain.
Oh, I don't think he'll be a villain. I think he'll be a misunderstood character, and then he'll see that the Guardians are trying to do good, and then he'll just join them to try and correct them.
Yeah.
And say, hey, I'm not going to kill you guys. I'm not going to put you in. I see you're trying to do good. Let me be here to help you and show you what the true path to justice is.
Yeah, that could actually...
And then they could reluctantly agree, because otherwise it's at or death.
Yeah, which Adam Warlock in the comics was so busted. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of opportunities on both sides. It's honestly it's personal preference. Like me as a child, if I could go back in time, dude, I would rewatch all the kids if I was a kid again, from like DC, Marvel, and all that. And here's the funny thing. There was more DC old-time shows than there was Marvel. Because Marvel only had what? You had the old-school Spider-Man show. You had the old-school Iron Man show.
You had the 90s X-Men TV show.
Yeah,
which was awesome.
Oh my god. I love that show. Especially because they brought my boy Gambit into the show. And he actually made him like a real X-Men and like a big part of the X-Men. Which was amazing. I love Gambit.
Gambit's good. I like Nightcrawler a lot, and they did a lot with Nightcrawler in that comic, or not in that comic, that TV show.
Yeah, and they've already introduced Nightcrawler's mom and dad into the movie universe, so they just gotta throw an adult Nightcrawler into a movie and they're set. Because you have Aziz from X-Men First Class, who's the red version of Nightcrawler, and then you have Mystique, where they at some point in time hook up, and she leaves Nightcrawler floating down the river. And then some person, a gypsy, finds him and just sells him to the circus. And then he becomes the amazing Nightcrawler.
What a fucked up origin story.
Yeah.
Mystique births you and says, kumbaya, we're gonna Prince of Egypt your ass.
I cannot take care of you. You must survive down the river, my child.
God will protect you. The crocodiles will not eat you.
Because they think you're poisoned because of your skin tone.
They'd probably already think he's dead and just eat him immediately.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff they can do. I really hope... So Deadpool's his own franchise for right now, and he's hinted at like X-Men First Class and stuff.
He's been straight up in the Fox Cinematic Universe now because of what they did with introducing like Colossus and Domino and all of them in there. Because of that, like he's an actual Fox character.
Oh my god. I'm so ready.
And then he made jokes about Wolverine, so Wolverine existed in that timeline.
He even wore a cutout of Hugh Jackman's face and says that Hugh Jackman and Wolverine are two different characters in his universe, which is funny as hell to me. So we could see the next Deadpool movie actually introducing the old school Wolverine, where they meet up and try to take down a bad guy, if Hugh Jackman would ever come back.
I'd like to see a new Hulk movie where they introduce Wolverine. Just do it like they did in the comics.
Oh, dude, Wolverine versus Hulk in like the tundra. And they just go at it.
Yeah, where it could just be that Wolverine, for whatever reasons, under some sort of mind control from like an actual villain, and he's being sent to hunt the Hulk. And so it's Professor Hulk who's, trying to reason with a wild animal, Wolverine.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun little movie. Or even it could just be a 40-minute thing on Disney Plus.
Dude, they could do
They could do mini movies on Disney Plus,
Well,
and it would work so well.
they did an animated version of that fight where Wolverine is sent to go hunt down Hulk. This is before he becomes Professor Hulk, and he's just like a wild animal living in the woods.
Yeah, I remember seeing that like mini movie because like
Yeah.
Deadpool's in that movie.
Yeah, and it was actually done really well. Like if you did something similar to that, you make some good money off of Disney Plus. Like honestly.
So let me hear from you. If Marvel were to do any movie, right? So keep the current pipeline the way it is.
Yeah.
With the way the MCU currently is, if you could throw in one movie that does anything with any characters, it doesn't interfere with the current timeline.
Okay.
What movie would you make?
That's hard. No, that's Sony Universe. I can't touch that film. Honestly, if they can turn General Ross into the Red Hulk, they could do that the X-Force team, which is Deadpool, Domino, Wolverine in the black and gray suit, Red Hulk, and I think somebody else. I can't remember who that other person is, but I think it's like X-Force or something like that.
Just do an actual X-Force movie and have them take on some baddie?
Yeah, that would be freaking awesome.
All right, and then same thing goes for DC. What's your plan?
Oh, dude, hands down, I want to see a Blue Beetle movie. Like Blue Beetle and Dr. Fate and Booster Gold, which would just be like a cheese character to throw in there. Just forget it.
Because why not?
Yeah, just like, hey, here's another character. He comes from the future and wants to make it rich being a superhero. Here you go. And then just go at it. Because Blue Beetle and Dr. Fate are like one of my two favorite, like, not really touched on topic characters for that universe. But, dude, if they did a nice Blue Beetle movie, they could open it up to, like, a good Young Justice movie or, like, a Teen Titans. Teen Titans could be really big if they did, like, a teenage Blue Beetle movie. And then at the end of the movie, he gets picked up by Robin as he's recruiting, like how Batman did in Justice League, where he's recruiting different people to join the Teen Titans.
Yeah. No, and that would be a good way to start merging universes, because you could have that be the same Robin that's in the later Batman movie.
Yeah.
And you could form an actual Teen Titans. Because I tell you what they could do to really make a good DC universe right now is scrap the current stuff, because like I love Henry Cavill as Superman, but it's just not working.
Yeah,
right?
He doesn't want to be Superman anymore. He's actually considering going to the Marvelverse to be Captain Canada.
Okay. Okay, Henry Cavill. All right, man. But
no, I think it's Captain Britain. My bad. It's Captain Britain is who he would be playing, which is like
Captain Britain's kind of cool. I mean, I kind of just look at it like this, where if they scrapped the current DC, right, they could do like a Teen Titans movie, bring in Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, have the only surviving member be Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and like Aquaman, who's severely injured, right?
Yeah.
Like is missing an arm and everything.
he loses his hand. He finally gets the hook.
They lose the war to Darkseid.
Yeah.
Darkseid comes and conquers the planet.
Oh my god.
And then you could have a Teen Titans movie where you have Flash, who Flash points back into this timeline to recruit, or Flash points back to recruit a Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Right, and with the current, or they're already doing a Flashpoint movie. That's literally what they're doing right now with the Flash.
And here's the thing. The Flashpoint movie, we're getting old Bruce Wayne, which means we might get a Batman Beyond.
I would be happy with that, but all they have to do is just have either Aquaman and Wonder Woman, who are best buddies now because they're the only members left of the OG Justice League, and have them raise a set of Teen Titans, and then have that be what combats Darkseid's forces off the planet.
Yeah, and what you could do is, if you have the Robin established beforehand, you could basically make him a little bit older and take up the mantle as Batman.
Yeah, I mean, he could just be Nightwing.
Yeah, he could be Nightwing and then just switch to the Batsuit when he needs to and just start recruiting the next Robin, which would be basically Damian Wayne. And he could we'll use him as like the starting point to recruit
we could see that like Batman had a kid at some point, right?
Yeah.
And then he just inherits the Wayne fortune, and Nightwing shows him, and he goes like, I know your dad.
Your daddy trained me, now I'm going to train you.
Security?
Alfred, help.
Oh, that'd be great. And he just automatically knows Nightwing and goes, oh, yes.
Oh, Master Dick, welcome home.
Damian goes, oh, no.
I'm in the shit now. No, dude, they could really... I like the idea of scrapping it and starting fresh. DC can...
just acknowledge that the timeline right now is fucked.
Yeah.
And that's fine, right? You can have evil Superman be like the antagonist of the Teen Titan movie.
Yeah.
And, it's only because of the combined efforts of all of the Teen Titans forming a proper Justice League because they actually work together, unlike the current Justice League. Alongside, like Wonder Woman sacrificing herself.
Yeah, because they already hinted at that when they did I think it was the end of the Justice League movie. You see that little glimpse where it's Joker and Batman like roaming the desert with like Cyborg in like his rustic uniform and freaking Wonder Woman. And you hear Joker and Batman arguing with each other as Superman's basically hunting the last bits of the Justice League down.
Yeah, like I know that's where they're going, where Superman turns rogue.
Yeah, they could do it in that timeline and hint at it.
I think it would be super cool if, they somehow make a Teen Titans, they become the new Justice League, right? Just to throw away the current characters. Like, I like the actors as their roles right now, but they fumbled around. And they could always do something where a death scene of Wonder Woman where she's giving away her lasso of truth to Starfire. She gives the bracers to Nightwing, right? And just hands down her pieces. It's like,
and they just start recruiting from there.
Exactly. And it's only like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah. And you could, and the thing is,
you could even have Cyborg be the mentor character. So that way you have it tied into the TV show.
Because think about it. If you have Cyborg as the mentor, he finds Beast Boy first. Mm-hmm. They become best buddies. You do a little bit of a time skip.
They could do like a little father-son thing there, too.
Yeah. And then Beast Boy gets a little bit older and they start recruiting from there. Then you have, there's a lot of stuff you can go into. You can hint at like, there's survivors that have been that somehow stole Superman's DNA and they can have Superboy.
They could have Superboy, or they could open up an alternate dimension and have Power Girl show up.
Yeah. Which Power Girl we haven't even seen in a movie yet, so Power Girl could be a possibility.
Make sure you have the boob window, though.
You gotta have a nice view. No, but there's a lot of characters they could hint at. They could hint at, like if they had Hawkeye, if they had Hawkgirl and Jon Stewart, you could hint at Jon Stewart's child like they did in the Justice League animated show where it was...
Well, I don't even think you have to do that. I think the fact that Jon Stewart never showed up to begin with.
Yeah.
Right, you can just have him be a character that shows up later.
Yeah. And like his ring is like basically tapped out, but he can use it a little bit sometimes.
Or just have it be where he's not a powerful combatant.
Yeah.
Right? Like if he were to try and trade blows with Superman, he'd be eviscerated.
Yeah, he'd be like
but have him
like
be
a
the
mentor.
Watchtower.
Yeah, he'd be like a mentor who knows more or less what's still going on. Mm-hmm. Or we can say he's left the planet to go deal with stuff in the core.
Either that or he was part of Darkseid's coalition to begin with, and he was brainwashed like Superman.
Yes.
And so when they make their way up to the satellite to turn off the neural networks, that way Darkseid doesn't know that they're attacking, right? Jon Stewart is saved and goes, oh, thank you. I will assist you. I can tell you exactly where Superman is.
Yeah.
And he can literally be just the radio system.
Yeah.
And he can be a narrator.
Yeah, they could do a lot.
They could do a lot with that, and they don't even I wouldn't even think that'd be butchering the character, because I like it when he's the wise sage who gives you information, rather than a combatant.
Yeah. So here's a curveball to you, Zach. How do you feel about the Suicide Squad movies?
The new one was good. The old one sucked.
I agree with that. Do you think they should continue, or they should just kill it off at a certain point? Because even
the fact that the Suicide Squad, as it currently is not dead.
And there's no Deadshot, too, either. Deadshot didn't go on that new mission.
He didn't, but that doesn't mean he's not still there.
No, he's still alive. I mean, like, maybe he was put under a penalty so he couldn't go out to get any more free time.
Or maybe he somehow managed to get out of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, which he does in the animated show and in the comics. He makes a final deal with, who's the lady who runs the Suicide Squad?
I don't know. She got her ass beat, though.
Yeah, so basically... he finds a way out by doing this one impossible task for her, and he's set free so he could go be with his daughter.
Well, I'm really liking with the new movie how they are kind of making an established canon with the Peacemaker TV show.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet.
I heard it was good.
But I genuinely like the idea that instead of doing these crazy big movies, they could just do TV shows and have it be big budget HBO shows.
And it's been working.
As HBO's making money off it, I'm sure they continue to do it.
It's been working really well. Like Peacemaker, I see a lot of stuff about people talking about that new show, Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm. Like if it ends up being something that raises HBO subscriptions like Game of Thrones did and have an established DC universe that is making money for HBO,
yeah,
I'm sure they will continue doing it for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Which could lead to a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. But I am more hopeful for DC getting their shit together than I am for Marvel to innovate themselves again. I don't think Marvel has a financial incentive to do it because their monies are topping themselves every year with being the highest selling film of all time.
Yeah. Basically, Marvel doesn't need to worry about that at this point.
Well, because here, Disney owns Marvel. Disney is making money.
Yeah.
Disney is, from their reputation, a company that does not change unless it has to.
Yeah.
Like, with the Disney parks, Disney did not change a single thing in the Orlando parks for almost 15 years.
Yeah.
From the opening of Animal Kingdom in 1998, they didn't add a single major attraction to their parks until Universal added Harry Potter.
Oh,
and then they retaliated by opening up Pandora 4 years later.
Yeah. And I will say this, I think Disney is splitting up their properties by making sure Avengers and Marvel stays in California while Florida gets Star Wars. Because
I think that is the dumbest move they can make.
Well, we'll see if because last time I went to Epcot, they were rebuilding parts of Epcot. I don't know if they're doing like an Avengers like sub theme or they were going to do something there, but I know they were doing it during the Food and Wine Fest last time I went. And I was trying to ask around to see what was going on. No one told me anything. So they might be doing something with Marvel, maybe in Orlando. We'll see. But like I don't know. We won't see until we get news about it.
Yeah, and this is a whole other topic, but I really think that Universal Studios is gearing to kick Disney's ass in the theme park space.
Oh yeah, they just said that they were going to open up a whole new park.
Epic Universe, yeah.
Yeah, which
where
I don't even know.
Super Mario Land and How to Train Your Dragon are going to be two of the major themes.
Oh my god, dude, Super Mario Land. Ugh.
Super Mario Land, and there's rumors, right? I'm not sure how real these are, that in the rest of the Universal parks in Orlando, that in Islands of Adventure, we're going to get a Pokemon Land.
Oh!
And then in actual Universal Studios, we're going to get Hyrule from The Legend of Zelda. If they had the big three Nintendo franchises...
Bro, they would kick Disney's ass.
I tell you what, I would buy an annual pass to Universal.
Oh yeah, hands down.
For a Pokemon Land.
Hands down. Dude, I would just do it for Hyrule. Or just even Mario Land.
Yeah, Mario Land, because it's already super cool in Japan, because it's really state-of-the-art stuff where it's augmented reality coasters.
Like you're playing like Mario Kart and stuff on a ride.
That's literally one of them is just Mario Kart.
Oh my god. That's a whole nother topic for another day.
But I think that would do super well. And I know one of the other lands is going to be classic Universal monsters. So, right, like Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, the Wolfman, Swamp Thing. But they could go ahead and they could put the Jaws ride back over there.
Oh, yeah.
And
make it so much better than it used to be.
And hear me out here. Because they already have the license for Kong, they could work out a deal with Toho and put in a Godzilla Land. And they could just do a kaiju verse area.
Oh, my God. And they like each kaiju more or less has like their own ride or they're hinted at the rides. Of,
all they have to do is do a Godzilla and a Kong ride. That's it. That's all they have to do. And they could have a gift shop and it would make them millions.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I totally believe it. Wow, we got really sidetracked.
Yeah, that's enough for a whole topic. So we're gonna go ahead and leave that there for now.
Yeah, we could talk about that for hours.
But any closing thoughts on the Marvel versus DC discussion?
DC's got a lot of growing up to do, and they got to start learning to take better risks. And dude, just find better directors, man. Like when Zack Snyder did his Snyder cut of Justice League. Amazing.
They just didn't like it because it was 4 hours long, but that's fine. We're willing to sit down for 4 hours.
If we're willing to sit down on our butts to watch for 4 hours and it makes the movie 50 times better, do it. Just do it.
You don't have to put it in movie theaters anymore, man. Just put it on HBO.
Yeah.
and tell them, hey, it's going to be on HBO, right? You have to have an HBO Max subscription, right? That's $12.99 a month. And then tell them, once you get into HBO, it'll be $2 to rent the movie.
There you go.
Or it'll be $2 to buy the movie on HBO Max. So you unlock the feature to watch that movie as many times as you want.
Yeah.
And it's just an extra $2.
Yeah.
And that movie or those two or that $2 goes directly back to Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you would make a shitload of money off of that.
Oh, I believe it. But DC's got some growing up to do. They could take a little bit more risks and maybe, like I said before, better directors. Marvel's going to just keep doing its thing until it needs to switch the formula.
And that's only going to happen when DC gets better.
Yeah,
Marvel can just keep doing what they're doing for the next 15 years, and they're going to keep taking money.
They've remade Fantastic Four, 2 times already, and there's going to do a third one?
I don't even think that they had to redo the Fantastic Four. They could have just said, hey, the movie's from 2000. Well, it was later than that. It's like 2004.
Yeah, but either way, you can't because some of the characters are already other characters in the universe. Like, you got Johnny Storm as Captain America, so you would have to recast that. But besides that, you got you got a pretty solid team.
Yeah, I mean, the Reed Richards and Sue Storm were pretty awesome.
Yeah, and Ben Grimm was pretty okay, too. Like, I wished he was a little bit more, bulkier, but don't do the CGI thing.
Well, you can do the CGI thing, but treat it like the Hulk.
Yeah, do it well.
Do a nice big mocap.
Yeah, I agree. I could agree with that. But like you said, they're not going to change until DC grows up, and that's still going to take a long while. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with these new movies that are coming out.
And we know comic sales aren't going to carry these companies, so the movies are what's going to make them.
So I think it's down to It's in
DC's court right now.
Yeah, DC's got Black Adam, which is going to bring in three new characters.
Well, it's also putting The Rock as the premier role, which I think's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, and he looks like Black Adam. Like, if you've watched any of the animated movies or seen him in a comic book, that's The Rock. He's big as hell, bald, evil looking, and this is the first time we're going to see the Dwayne The Rock Johnson play someone evil, which we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes.
I am too.
But with that, we're going to go ahead and bring the show to a close. You can find me at Nerd Culture's Dead on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and hopefully soon iTunes. Oscar, where can we hear from you?
I'm going to be on Emmanuel Rivera on Instagram. You guys can hit me up there if you have any questions or if you just want to talk comics or anything like that. I'm open up for discussions. And that's where you can usually find me.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you very much for the listen, and hopefully you don't get a paper cut on those comics. Later, guys.